after speaking affirmations over yourself. The more you hear it, the more you believe that it's true.
And welcome to Premier Fitness. I'm Gene Williams, your yoga instructor, and I'm here to tell you about the benefits of yoga.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining our show. You have just tuned in to Where is the Love? I am your host. I'm Stephanie Hawkenholm. Joining me is my co-host, my son, Gene Williams. My sidekick is back. My sidekick is back. I can hear some static. I'm gonna have to fix this in just a minute. But hopefully you can hear. I was here last week without my sidekick. I was here with Isis Clay, our guest, Isis Clay. So if you missed that show, she is in theater. So she teaches theater as a way to help empower the educators and the students as a way to change the trajectory of, to change the trajectory of how they're feeling when they're feeling, especially the educators feeling burnout. So that is a way to empower educators. It's a way to empower anybody. I like when I'm doing seminars, I like to do skits with the different types of bullying. And it's very interesting what the groups come up with to do the skits. But everybody that's watching have to tell us what kind of bullying is, being shown in the skits. So our conversation was lively last week because we have those two things in common. So welcome back, son.
Glad to be back.
So tell them how they can reach us so I'll tell them and then we can get started. Because I'm going to have to fix this because I hear that static. Can you hear static?
I don't.
Okay. So if you are here watching us, you should be watching us, which I forgot to fix that. I'm going to have to do that. You should be watching our YouTube channel, Love Misunderstood Institute, or Premier Fitness 0210. You can also watch us right now live on Roku and Amazon Fire. All you have to do is go to those channels, type in PODTV space LIVE, and you can watch us live right now on TV.
Live in the living color.
Go ahead.
Live in the living color.
That's right. So we are going to be talking about adult bullying today. So Gene, I want you to start on that while I fix my technicalities here. Please.
It would be my pleasure. All right. So as you said, we're talking about adult bullying, or also known as workplace bullying. The most sophisticated bullies use tactics that go undetected by leadership. While it's easy to recognize the schoolyard bullies, workplace bullies use more sophisticated tactics. Some of them are difficult to prove. Other behaviors allow bullies to fly under the radar undetected. But it is important to recognize what behaviors constitute bullying, because one workplace can be enough to create a toxic environment. According to the Workplace Bullying Institute, surveys have shown that there are 25 most common tactics for bullies to use. First one, and I can imagine why, is making false accusations. 71% of surveys respondents say a bully has accused them of making errors that they did not actually make. So that just makes your reputation as it pertains to an employee look a little shaky. Number two, using nonverbal intimidation. Staring and glaring are just a few ways bullies might try to intimidate their target without saying a word. 68% of individuals say a bully clearly showed hostility with their body language. So staring people down, crossing their arms, and, mean faces, all of that good stuff. Sound like somebody needs a hobby or something. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Whatever. Anyway, number three is dismissing an individual's thoughts or feelings. Bullies often try to minimize their target's contribution or embarrass them from sharing. 64% of individuals say a bully has said something like, "Oh, that's silly," in a meeting when they've shared their thoughts, which is a way of demeaning the person and what's the word I'm looking for? Um, invalidating, invalidating their contribution. All right, number four is using the silent treatment. Ostracism is a common tactic of bullies too. 64% of individuals say a bully has used the silent treatment to try and cut their victims off from the group. Yeah, sounds like adults just need to find a better way to work things out and talk and be mature. This is really immature to do to people. But anyway, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I always say. All right, number five is exhibiting mood swings. Sometimes bullies use anger to try and control others. 61% of individuals say a bully has used presumably uncontrollable mood swings in front of a group as a way to try to intimidate others. So, the person who gets all irate and starts wilding out in the middle of a meeting or towards the person to try to get them to, again, intimidate them, make them afraid to voice their opinion for the possibility of physical violence or worse, temper tantrums being had. Number six is making up random rules. Lord, they're always coming up with some new rules to try to tell you how you can or cannot operate. Random rules. A bully, especially one who is in charge, may claim certain things are against company policy when it's to their benefit. 61% of the individuals say a bully has made up random rules that they do not even follow themselves. Ooh, yeah, I've been there, had the experience that you can't do this, but I can do it. The do as I say, do not as I do type mentality. Yeah, that's a big thumbs down. Exit stage left for that person. All right, number seven, disregarded satisfactory disregarded satisfactory work. 58% of individuals say a bully has disregarded their satisfactory or exemplary work. Despite evidence that a project meets the company's standards, a bully might say it's not good enough or doesn't meet guidelines. Yeah, just again trying to invalidate a person to make them, less confident in their work, especially when it's above board or yeah, people. All grown folks ain't grown people. All right, number eight, holding the target to a different standard. Bullies often insist that their targets aren't meeting the standards, even though they are performing the same as other employees. 57% of individuals say they've been harshly or constantly criticized by a bully for their performance. Another manipulation tactic. Gotta love those, right? All right, number nine, spreading destructive rumors. So again, I would say definitely these apply not only to the workforce, but very much into everyday life. I've experienced number nine both in the workplace workplace and also in my personal life. So it's a fun one to read. Spreading destructive rumors. Yeah, a way of isolating you, icing you out. Uh, Bullies often gossip or spread harmful rumors or lies. Either way, I like the word lies better. It's a little more straightforward. Harmful rumors to ruin their target's reputation. 56% of individuals say they've known a bully who starts or fails to stop gossiping about another person. Yeah, that's just an insecure person um, who's got to throw dirt on a person's name to make them feel not so badly about themselves. How about we just, you know, own who we are and not create lies for people to have to un uh, establish things of that nature. It's really unfortunate.
Okay. I'm sorry. I pushed the wrong button.
Let me, let me out. Let me alone. I had to
I
finish
was
myself.
backstage listening. I just couldn't get in.
It's all good. It's
Thank
all
you,
good.
Mark. I'm sorry, son.
It's
I
all
was
good.
listening. I was following along.
I'm messing with you.
I
I,
knew the
I had to
song,
give
so
you a
I was
hard
playing
time.
along.
If you notice all, sing along. Tell you right. I said you're Roman how. I said you're Roman how. Watch your mouth.
Mark said, "Were you feeling abandoned?"
I was feeling abandoned. My abandonment issues had come up. I'm like, was I unworthy of her being here with me? She's gonna leave me and not say nothing. Oh.
You know I wouldn't abandon you. I was like, man,
I'm messing
I
around.
can't get myself back in. Why did I push that button?
Yeah.
So sorry. But I wanna
Oh, good.
you wanna say something?
No, you go ahead. I've said a plenty.
You have. So I just want to say to the listeners that that workplace bullying is big to me because that's where I experienced the most bullying in my lifetime. Um, I experienced bullying, of course, in other areas, definitely. Um, but so much of, of the things that Gene already went over, like making false accusations, that happened to me. Using nonverbal intimidation, I had that happen a lot. And because I didn't use my voice, I'll just say didn't have the courage and the confidence to use my voice to speak up for myself. um, I was, the looks and, like Jean said, crossing your arms and stuff like that, that kind of stuff really, um, really bothered me. It really intimidated me, honestly. And dismissing an individual's thoughts or feelings,
Right.
like what you're saying is nothing. You don't know what you're talking about, stuff like that is just horrible, and it puts you in a position where, if you already are a person that doesn't have the courage and the confidence to speak up for yourself, then that makes that even worse,
Right.
and so you live in a state of fear, the way you think about things, you're constantly afraid you're going to mess up something. And, when you fear, things like that, then you do that. So whatever you
Right.
fear, that's the thing that you attract.
Right.
So then when it happens, like, I knew that was going to happen. Well, you feared it. So, I mean,
Right.
you couldn't expect anything else but that. That's what you attracted.
Right.
And so I do want to say that one of the things that I've learned as a result of that, the things that we attract, like what I just said, is to, what are you thinking? How are you thinking? Um, and I said that on y'all show yesterday too, but um, how are you thinking? Why are you thinking that way?
Right.
And so you have to be able to acknowledge that you're thinking, as I think it was Joyce Meyer said, you got that stinking thinking,
Yeah.
so if if you're thinking less of yourself or you're thinking negatively, what's causing you to think that way? What's causing you to think fearful thoughts? What's causing you to think thoughts of intimidation? And then you have to uh, acknowledge that, you know, um, and that's something that you say often, but you have to acknowledge this is what I'm feeling,
Right.
but this is not what I want to feel. So then you draw those things to you by saying, positive things. And something that I've been sharing is, the affirmations, the importance of affirmations. I am smart. I am, wise. And so just keep saying things like that. And the more you say those I am statements, or I can, you know, uh, do this. I can uh, make this happen. I can, you know, things like that. Or I have, the capability to do this. Um, and so those are just some affirmations, some examples of affirmations. And when you keep saying those things, then what's the word? Um, Diminishes the power of the negative thoughts. And so, before you know it, you're attracting the I am, or I can, or I have, and instead of the positive way. So not
Right.
like I am afraid, I am fearful. Those are thoughts that you don't want to have, negative thoughts that, kick it like a kickball. Get out of here. Get to stepping, like Martin used to say.
Right.
So I just wanted to say that because people don't realize and understand how, the negative impact that, people, when they look down on you and intimidate you and say negative things about you and bully you, because that's what all of that is,
Right.
it keeps you from, uh, it can keep you in a place of negativity and not
Right.
positivity. And so you have to, like I said, realize what you're thinking, and then you got to make a choice. So first you
Right.
realize what you're thinking. You acknowledge that what you're thinking is not good. And then whatever I just said. um
Happening.
so you can't come out of the negative place unless you acknowledge that you're in a negative place.
Right.
Oh, the choice is the third one. So, um, and then when people use a silent treatment, oh my gosh, that can be so horrible, when somebody does that. And I don't think people know that that's, bullying somebody else, when you do that. I mean, and I heard you say, I think it was on this one, about the icing out, isolating,
Right.
icing out, somebody. And so you're just like, I'm not going to talk to you, and so that's bullying people because you're ignoring them. And so you're controlling their emotions, their mental state
Empathy.
by doing that. And then mood swings. Oh, I can't stand moody people. That is one
Yeah.
thing that irritates me. And getting a little personal, but I'm just gonna say it because we grown folk. So,
What you said?
you, huh?
I said what you said. We grown.
So, like when women use I'm on my monthly, or I'm on my cycle, or I'm on my period. It's all the same thing, just different words. But when women use that to treat somebody like crap, I just want to slap them up because I wasn't that kind of person. So I don't even understand that. You just
Right.
making excuses to treat somebody bad. Get yourself together. We all have bad days. We all go
Mhm.
through things,
Blah,
but you
blah, blah,
can't
blah.
just right. You can't just treat people like crap because you feeling some type of way. Go take some medicine, go lay down, go to sleep, shut your mouth, get off by yourself. Don't come around with that moody stuff. And another thing, oh my gosh, people that wake up in the morning, they don't want to be bothered. I'm not a morning person. Take your butt back to bed. Get up when you can get up with a better attitude. That's another thing. Those two things, and that's not in the workplace, that's just privately. But I'm just saying, mood swings just got me, on this tangent. Because I just don't like that. Stop acting a fool is what I want to say, because that's what you're doing. Um,
Some of
so
them ain't
that's just
acting.
some, huh?
Some of them ain't acting.
Some of it what?
Some of them ain't acting.
Right. Some of them is just being,
A fool.
and it's irritating. And then you stopped at 9, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so number 6, when you said making up random rules,
Oh,
people people when they losing or when they ain't getting their way, when things ain't happening the way they want it to happen, then they start making up stuff. Okay, this is the rules, this is what we're gonna do. Really?
you can't do that.
Right. Okay.
Get them out of here.
Especially in a game, you
Oh
know
God.
don't just change the rules because you losing. You can't win at everything. No matter what you say or do, you're not gonna win at everything. So I just wanted to go back over um some of this stuff. Disregarded satisfactory work. Stop picking on what people do just because you want to be better at everything. You're not going to be the best at everything ever. I don't care who you are. You're not going to always be the best. You're not going to always win. So stop putting other people's work down just because that's what you want to do. That's controlling people and bullying people. And then holding the target to a different standard just because you might like somebody else better. Don't talk down to and put other people down, humiliate them and insult them because you hold me at a lower standard than you do your friend on the job.
Right.
So I just wanted to go back and give you a break on talking. But I wanted to go back and go over some of that stuff because, like I said, workplace bullying is where I've experienced the most bullying. And it's horrible because you spend 8, 10, 12 hours a day at work with the same
Right.
people and you dealing with all of this crap and you can't even function well to get your job done because you scared you're going to make them mad or piss them off or mess up something. And, like I said earlier, with all of them fears, you tend to end up doing some of those things because you're afraid that it's going to happen. So you attract that to you and it happens.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you want to start where you were or you want to add something?
Well, I was just going to kind of add to what you just said. Like, when you're in a state of, excuse me, when you're constantly walking on eggshells because someone has created an environment where you're always on edge, you're always anxious. Yeah, it creates an environment where you messing up is conducive. I mean, you keep hearing it, so it's like they're adding to that broken record that all of us hear
Yeah.
over and over again. And then, like you said, you manifest it because you hear it so much, and now you've been intimidated and pushed around in a myriad of different ways. And it's man, you know. So like you
Yeah.
said, definitely want to feed yourself positive affirmations, and furthermore address the situation of workplace bullying, because either way, like you said, you spend 8 to 10 hours or more, depending upon your job, 5 to 6 days a week, if not more, with in this environment. So it not only affects your workplace, but it also affects your everyday life. Because I mean, again, it's a big chunk of your day, at least a
Right.
third.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm
All
so
right. So
glad to be able to, because all of those years I wasn't able to, I couldn't figure out how to encourage myself and how to build my confidence. Um,
mm,
all of those years. So I lived in a constant state of uh, fear, in my mind. Um, and I just didn't know how to get out of that place.
right.
Um, and so now to finally be able to, understand, even though I've heard, for years, say affirmations and all of that, there's a power behind that. So
Right.
not just saying the affirmations, but you have to believe what you are saying. And so the more you say it,
Right.
the more you believe it. Just like in the intro, when I was saying that in front of the crowd, I was speaking to. The more you say it, the more you believe it, the more power there is behind it. And
Right.
then you're going to attract exactly what you're speaking.
Right.
So it's not just saying the affirmations, but you have to believe them. And there's the power.
Right.
So I just wanted to add that too, because I constantly cried. I was constantly fearful I was going to mess up, or mess up a relationship, or and not just an intimate relationship, but just mess up,
Right.
with people, by disappointing them, you know. And so I lived in a constant state of fear. And I'm trying to think of another word. Um, but it was just horrible. So I was
Anxiety.
just, huh?
It sounds like a high level of anxiety.
Yeah, it was a high level of anxiety, but I was just so timid. But,
Right.
like y'all were saying yesterday on your show, and something that I had to deal with a lot this week, even today, is childhood trauma.
Right.
Because those triggers come, you have to deal with the trauma.
Right.
Because when you ignore it, and just say, well, that was years ago. Yeah, it was years ago, but it's here, present, right now, for you to deal
Right.
with it. And
Right.
so I have learned so much about that, and not just learned it, but I have been living it this week, and like I said, even today, you know and it's just crazy. So it's like, one of the ways we have to think about it is, you think about something that happened during your childhood, for example, and I know on y'all show y'all gonna talk about childhood trauma next
Oh yeah.
week.
Right.
So I can't wait to partake.
Rainbow plug.
So y'all have to check out
Unbreakable
Unbreakable
soul.
Souls, the TV show Unbreakable Souls. So Gene, and he has a friend, and so they
Hmm.
male friend, and so they together talk about male issues, male trauma, is what they're talking about now. But they've talked about so many different things. You have to check out their show. They're also on Roku. They're also on Amazon Fire, and you can check them out on Premier Fitness 0210. That is the YouTube channel. You can go to and watch any of their shows. They just finished episode 8 yesterday. I am so proud of them. I am so excited for them and what they are doing, because they are talking about different male issues, physical, mental, emotional, um, and whatever I'm missing, you can add. But they are they are being authentic about their conversations with these issues, and men don't do that. Most men don't do that, and you got to listen to their show so you can hear them talk about issues that most males just don't like to address or have been taught. And that's the biggest thing, have been taught to be a man. You don't do this, you don't do that, you do this, you do that. So um you got to catch their show. So I just got so excited just thinking about say what you want to say.
Yeah. Every Saturday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, catch myself and Coach Gary Newsom for our show Unbreakable Souls. We actually just started a series talking about trauma. So we kind of gave a brief overglaze, I should say. Now we're starting next week on talking about childhood trauma specifically, and we all have it. So thank you for that plug, Ma. I really do appreciate it. It's a great show, and I mean it's primarily for men, but as you see, we have female listeners as well. And I mean, we are open to hearing anyone's opinion and feelings about the topics at hand. So check us out every Saturday 3 p.m. Unbreakable Souls.
Woo, woo! I'm glad we were able to highlight y'all on
Appreciate
this show. Um, but back to the triggers, like I said, because I've dealt with this week specifically, and even today, some of my childhood trauma. And so when those triggers come up, when those triggers, meaning thoughts, for those that don't know, when those thoughts come up, they come up for a reason. It is time for you to deal with the issue, whatever it is. Even though it's hurtful, you may not want to talk about it. You, like I said earlier, you may think like, oh, that happened years ago. It's still time to deal with it, because guess what? You have to make a choice at that time. Do I deal with this right now, or do I ignore it? Because if you
right,
ignore it, it's gonna come back. And when it comes back again, there are more layers, because more things are being added to the trauma when you don't deal with it.
right,
So it's very important to deal with that stuff. And so that's a different part of my life now, that I'm learning to deal with the things as they arise, and not, you know, put them down or lay them down like, you know,
right,
it's gonna go away, or it'll be all right, or I forgive them, or whatever. Deal with it.
right,
Deal with it down to the very root,
right,
so it'll go away forever. Or when it comes back, it definitely, definitely, definitely will not have the impact that
right,
it has when you think about it. So you have to make a choice. Do I deal with it or ignore it? But it's going to come back if you ignore it. So,
right, right. Yeah, in the situation of childhood trauma, the deal is, I mean, for the most part, especially if we're grown, it's like there's a high likelihood that you will always have some triggers. But the beauty of what you said, addressing it in the moment with the situation, it helps you to peel it back slowly but surely, so you can get to that bottom layer. Because I mean, again, childhood trauma has shaped who we are and who we perceive ourselves to be. So we have
absolutely.
to slowly, you know, peel back and examine this part. Each time you have to peel it back, you have to examine it deeply and take into account where you are and where it stems from, and then where you want to go forward. It's always a choice. You always have the choice to peel it back and learn from this particular scab that's transpired, and then just keep going back until you get to the root of it all. But I guarantee you, man, like trauma is a regular part of life, and the more that you're able to peel it back and really unpack your trauma, it makes you a better person because you're more self-aware, and that's the goal, to become more self-aware. It's easier to tune into, you know, that what you were created to be an example of, or a reflection of God, when you are able to be honest about who you are on all levels. You can
Absolutely.
have a more authentic relationship with God and with yourself and with people when you're able to be honest with who you truly are.
Right. Absolutely. Um, and I've heard people, uh, talk about, like you just said, peeling it back is like peeling back the layers of an onion.
Right,
Um, and so one of the things that I've learned is, and you use the word unpack, that's, the same thing. You're
right,
unpacking this trauma
right,
because, you know, maybe, I was molested, as a kid. And I didn't know how to deal with that. So different things started happening and started piling more layers on. And
right,
so, you know, just think about it like this. Why am I doing this? Where did this come from?
right,
And so it's the exact opposite, when you start unpeeling that onion, because you start seeing these layers and you're like, wow, that's
right,
why I did this. That's
right,
why I was like this. That's why I acted like this. It's
right,
because you have those things, you know, that happen, that the impact is the piling on,
right,
piling on. That's the impact. And so that's how, people, for example, this is just an example, people, that I'll just say people that are serial killers. So that person, things has happened in their lives, and now they're, killing this person, then they're killing this person. And the serial part of it is, they're doing the same thing to different people, and so that's how they, end up labeling it a serial killer, the person a serial killer. But there are things that happen in that person's life. And so the impact is what you're seeing. That's the end
right,
result, you know.
right,
Um, and so why did they end up being a serial killer? Well, when you start thinking about things that happen in their life, for example, then, like I said, things just kept piling on and piling on and piling up. And this is the end result. This is what you
right.
see, now.
Yeah.
So,
A lo-
go ahead.
I was gonna say a lot of those stories you'll see that like they were showing that aspect of themselves, and it usually started from some childhood trauma they experienced, and then like they may have killed a bird or killed a cat, or now they're experimenting with bigger things, and like you said, it piles on and it takes on a life of its own, and as it grows, it becomes a bigger thing.
Yeah.
And it's the same with undealt with and um, unaddressed trauma in life. Um, man, we I'm looking at this one right here, encouraging people to turn against their target. I know about that one all too well. Um,
Oh, go ahead
yeah,
and get to that.
yeah,
We
yeah.
we had
So
to we had to do what we
to
just
veer off a
did.
little bit,
There's a reason. So
right?
go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. So number 10 again is encouraging people to turn against their target. Bullies feel more powerful when they gain allies. So in an attempt to get more people on their side, they often encourage others to turn against the person being tormented. AKA they create a flying monkey army. We talked about that subject before on the man, it's woo way back there in the archives, man. Well, 55% of individuals have seen this happen in the workplace. Not only in the workplace, but in real life stuff, man.
Absolutely. I don't know if you knew about this. I was going to say something to you about it after the show, but since we're here, did, did you hear about the lady uh, that took her 7-year-old daughter in Nashville? Took her 7-year-old daughter. Now they're looking. She's wanted for parental alienation. It's a
What?
real thing.
Oh, oh,
Hello,
you know,
Tennessee.
I know, I know all too well about parental alienation.
But listen, so the parental alienation part, though, that I'm
Mhm.
stressing is that when you don't do, so that's what I saw is the evidence of when you are caught doing
Right,
parental alienation, you will be looked for, you will be sought after. And so that's the part that, because I never knew about parental, yes. So Nashville, that's still
yeah,
Tennessee.
right,
So I
yeah.
was like, oh, I wanted to send it to you, but I was like, no, I want him to sleep tonight.
Mhm. I appreciate that because yeah, you know me. Once you put it in my head, it's like I can't.
Yes,
Then
and
I be
I
mad. Then I be mad. I'm ready
yeah,
to
and I
fight.
could, and I couldn't do that. But I wanted to tell you since you just brought that out. Um,
Yeah.
like I said, you will be sought after. So that's what I saw. Hey, Mark, I
Hey,
see you talking and I'm
hey,
scared to touch stuff because I'm on my phone. I don't
no,
want to
I
go
figured
out
as much.
again.
I figured as much, but I had to tease you because first you abandoned Gene, now you over here threatening him with things that are going to give him a nightmare and all along those lines. I'm like, he's actually having a good day with his mom. His mom is first like abandoned him, and I've helped with the abandonment, and then now she's threatening him with nightmares. This is not a good way for a bullying show to go
They
and
got
everything.
torturing me.
Just abandoned you. But then I was also going to tease y'all because that's one of the comments I was making and everything was
Okay.
because some of the people that are watching the show are you're talking about triggers and triggers are very real. But I have an affinity for the animals, and I thought Trigger was Lone Ranger's horse. I didn't realize it was another thing and all along those lines. Because I was thinking, about, and by the way, Gene, could I be wrong? I think that Trigger was being bullied. I think the Lone Ranger and Tonto were bullying Trigger, and I think that Trigger was highly upset because he's going like, I don't remember telling y'all to ride me. I don't remember telling y'all to do a bunch of other things. So I think that
Right.
personally, Trigger might have been the one bullied in that relationship. So I don't know your thoughts
I
about
can
this,
agree with
but I
that.
think Trigger was probably the one being bullied.
I can agree with that. Stop putting me in the
Yeah.
middle of this human stuff.
Sending him out to fight wars that weren't even his wars and everything. So, and
Right.
definitely all along those lines. And when you were talking about Unbreakable Souls, that's a great show, and I'm glad to pop in there every once in a while. I just wanted to
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
do I have to bring a handkerchief next week? Because it sounds like we're going to be getting real deep, and there might be some tears flowing. So I just want to know if I have
Yeah.
to bring some handkerchiefs with me and everything. So if so, I need to know this. And the last thing that I wrote, Stephanie, just let you know, and all along those lines, is you were talking about people in their winning attitudes and we can't win in everything. And I was going like, what? You mean I can't win in everything? You mean that if I play Gene and Stephanie in spades, I have to prepare to lose some games? I thought that I could
Yeah.
win every game.
Nah, nah, I'm gonna cut
No,
everything. I'm cutting everything. I got a black hand over here. Cutting
yeah.
everything.
There are people that are sore losers, and
Oh yeah.
I don't like to play with them people because you can't win all the time. And I'm not going to let you win just so you can be happy. So,
Right.
since I already know you're a sore loser, you don't know how to act right when you lose. That's all right. I don't even want to
I
play with
won't
you.
name any names because they're listening. They probably know what I'm talking about. But I know that when I was younger and all along those lines, yes, I had some sore losers in my family. And if they were losing, they would literally disrupt the set. So you might be winning, and next thing you know, the set would go flying all over the place. And
Right.
it's going like,
Yeah.
oh, can't win that game. So I know those kind of folks. So yeah, sometimes they'd be like, I'm not losing. So next thing you know, whether it's Monopoly or whether it's chess or whatever, the game pieces were all over the floor and all of those lines. So Gene, I'm sure you've dealt with those as well.
Oh yes. That's when you lay hands on them.
That's when I don't
Leave it
play with
all
them.
up. Pick it all
Everybody
up right
don't know
now.
how to. Everybody don't know how to play well with others, and those people
Man.
don't.
Yep, they don't know how to play well with others and everything. So I'm gonna let y'all go back to the show. But yeah, I know he was feeling abandoned and everything. And yes, I did see those flying monkeys. Matter of fact, I think I've seen some flying monkeys flying around Durham and office places and everything else. So yeah, those flying monkeys, they're all over society. I understand there might even
Yeah.
be some of those flying monkey type personalities because you know we're our global network. So they might even have flying monkeys in Haiti. Oh, wait a minute. I know for a fact that we got some flying monkeys over there in Russia and over there in Israel because we're seeing what kind of behavior they've got. So I'm sure there's flying monkeys all over the world.
All over the world. That's guaranteed.
Yep, no doubt. Well, I'm gonna let y'all go back, but I just had to pop in and share that little bit of fun conversation. But yeah, when y'all talking triggers, I was going like, "That's the Lone Ranger. That's the horse."
Yeah,
War
triggers
hard.
are real. Triggers are
Yeah.
real. So, Gene, I'm a send you because that just happened last night.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just start grinning like a Cheshire cat. Yeah, try that now. So anyway, I mean
That's a
not
whole nother
now, but you
conversation
know,
right there, man.
huh?
So that's a whole other conversation right there, man.
Right. But it just made my heart happy because I'm like,
Right.
man, there is an end to this because it sometimes it don't seem like it. But anyway,
Hallelujah.
that's how I
I
felt.
believe. Hey.
Yeah, that just made my heart happy last night. I was like, wow, this really does happen. So
Yeah.
that's the part that excited me, is it really does happen. So so back to go ahead.
Yeah, I want to say this affirmation real quick so everybody can hear it. I am ready to receive a favorable judgment in this court case. I am. I am. I'm ready. Come
Right.
on now. It's time.
And
It's time overdue, Lord.
yeah. And keep saying that as many
I
times
will.
of the day as you think about that, keep saying it because
Yeah.
it's your time. It's your
Right.
season.
Right.
It's time. It's
And I
time.
had to say it over international airways. You heard me? You heard me, man. That's why I had to say it like that. Had to put some power on it. Some
That's right.
power.
You so doggone silly. All right, we got 12 more minutes. We ain't gonna get all of this, but let's get a little bit more of it. And of course, we will have some conversation about this again because it's a
Right.
real thing and we have so much more to cover. Um, but let's talk about a little bit more of this before we end the show.
Right. All right. So number 11 is singling out a target. Whether the bully moves the target's office to the other end of the building, or the target is purposely excluded from a meeting, isolation is a common tactic. We know about all too well. Anyway, 54% of individuals say they've seen a bully try to separate their target from the group, especially socially or physically. Oh, yeah.
And that's one of the types of bullying that seniors do the most, senior
Mm-hmm.
citizens, um, is social bullying. They may be at a table doing activities or eating a meal, and then somebody that they don't like come to the table and want to sit in an clearly empty chair, and they tell them no, somebody else is sitting there or you can't sit
Right.
there. you know they may just say you can't sit there, and then the person, if they don't have enough confidence, they'll just walk away. If they have some confidence, then they'll say why not, and then they'll say somebody else is sitting there when
Right.
clearly nobody's sitting here. And then they may go and sit somewhere else, and then nobody ever sits in that chair. So that's the
Yeah.
type of bullying mostly seen, in seniors. There's a lot of types of bullying, but that's one that I've seen the most. So I just wanted to add that.
Yeah. All right. Number 12 is displaying gross, undignified, but not illegal behavior. Bullies are quite calculating in their tactics. Can I get an amen?
Hey,
And they
man.
know, amen. Uh, and they know how to misbehave without actually crossing the line into illegal activities. Some of them do, some of them don't. Anyway, um, uh, a whopping 53% of individuals say they've seen a bully stop just short of crossing the line into illegal behavior.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like people. You know, I like people, but I don't like people. That's just, I have to be honest. I like you if we talk, but you start acting full, I want to chop you in the throat. Two chops to the throat. Two chops to the goddamn
Right.
throat.
Get yourself together.
Man. And when you get up, I want you to apologize, okay? All right.
Because I'm about to lay you out.
I just want to take their brother away for a hot second. Now think about it and apologize. All right, number 13. Oh goodness. Ooh boy. Trigger yelling and screaming to humiliate a person. I wish you would. Uh, bullies frequently scream or throw tantrums in public to humiliate their target. 53% of individuals say they've seen a bully act out of anger in an attempt to embarrass someone.
Yeah,
Headbutt,
it's
headbutt. See that? You didn't even see it coming, did you? You didn't see it coming.
not head, but
Headbutt, wow. So I
ah,
don't like people hollering at me. Why you hollering, man? Can you bring
yeah,
that from a 10 to a 2? 10 to 2. Bring it down. I'm going
yeah.
to chop you and get it up. So you can't talk. I'm sorry.
I was
I'm
trying
saying
to
all this.
think of a something one of the comedians said when you said chop them in the neck,
2 chops to the throat.
and
2 chops
yeah,
to the guy's throat. I think
um,
that's
no, not
was
that part. You know how they say I'm gonna knock the something out of you. I can't remember if it's like when you're crying and they
the pause, not the pause out.
yes, that's what I was trying to think. I couldn't think of it.
Knock the pause out. Bah! But think about it. I'm gonna apologize. Don't get now. Don't get. Don't. I got 2 hands.
Right. I was trying to think of that while you was talking, and I couldn't remember what the heck it was.
Knock
Yep.
the pause out. Knock the pause out.
So let's do two more, and then we'll end the show.
All right. Number 14 is stealing credit for work. Bullies are notorious for claiming exceptional work was their own. 57% of individuals say they've seen a bully insist someone else's ideas or work was their own.
I had that happen to me so many times. As a volunteer coordinator, I had my boss stealing ideas from me and acting like they were her own, and then not even sharing. Like I created this event one time and I told her the ideas of the event, and then she took it and did it
Mhm.
and told the marketers about it. And so they did it together. And so I found out a few days, they did all this planning. And so like a few days before, maybe a week before the event, then it got to me. And I'm like, how did they? So then what I told my volunteer is let's they didn't since I didn't tell them this part, they don't know this. So let's create a game to draw people to our table. So nobody else had that. And so we didn't tell them, we just did it. And so people kept coming to our table, and I'm like, look, see, you didn't get all of the idea, but you took this and you made it your own. So anyway, I just wanted to add that too, because that's just one incident where that happened to me. And that was just so crazy to me. But I ended up kind of taking it back, drawing the attention back to me by having the game, because people were like, what's this? And then we had candy or some kind of prize to give, each winner. And so I'm like, y'all didn't think about that.
Look at you with your face. Never mind. Sorry, I can't say that word on this show.
So let's save the rest of them. We're not even going to do the other one. We'll start at the next one when we have a few guests scheduled. And so when we don't have a guest, we're going to come back to this and finish this up, because there's so much more about workplace bullying that we want to get to and that we need to get to. So you want to share any last words, ideas, anything about what we've talked about here?
Yeah. Definitely in a situation like this, when you're dealing with workplace bullying and just dealing with being bullied at all, as an adult or youth, whatever, have the confidence to know that you are worthy to be honored and respected. If someone is mistreating you, speak up about it. Don't push it down, because it won't get better unless you speak about it. And even sometimes when you speak about it, it's going to be rough, but at least you have created the first step to make it change. So understand your power by making a choice.
Yep.
Make the choice that's going to be most beneficial for you and ultimately the person who's bullying you. Whether it be they lose their job and have to realize later on, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Duh.
Right.
Anyway. But yeah, just speak up for yourself, believe in yourself, know that you are worthy, you were created beautifully, and as that, you should only allow yourself to be treated the way you were created. So that's my spiel.
And so I want to add to that. Remember, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Everything about you is wonderful. No matter who you are, there's some wonderful things about you. You just have to dig deep to find out what those things are. Explore, address triggers when they come, so you can unpeel those layers and get to the root of it and let it all go. Release that thing. When you release, when you open your hand and release the bad thing, the good can come. So there's so much more that is available to you. Joy and happiness and love and peace. But you can't get those things if you're experiencing traumatic things, if you're experiencing unrest and all of those things, but you want to hold on to it. You have to let those things go so that you can get the good thing that's waiting for you. You can't get the good thing. You can't walk through the door to get the good thing if you want to keep holding on and not releasing. So remember that. We are glad you are watching our show, even if it's the replay. Hopefully you get a lot out of this, and this helps you. I know that I have certainly grown. We've been doing this show for almost 2 years. Next month, it'll be 2 years. And I have grown. Yeah, I have grown a lot, and knowledge is important. You have to learn. You have to be willing to learn. You have to be willing to seek the knowledge to get the answers to the things that you need in order to live a peaceful, joyful, happy life. So if you don't, you're going to, continue to live the way you're living, however that is.
Right. Yep.
So join us next Sunday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here, wherever you're watching us from. Take care. We send you peace. We send you love. We tell you to take care, be joyful, be happy, love, love, love. Take care. Bye for now. Stay tuned for the outro video. Gene's second single, him and his band G Wiz in the Solar System, their second single. Take care. Bye for now.
Coming soon.
The police took another life. Gunshots rang out, even though he had his hands held high. Yo, I'm sick and tired to walk my brother's short lines. Need to come together, set a plan, and then mobilize. Oh, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do about all the hell that we're going through? Now stand up, shout out into the walls of Babel on the feet. Stand up, come on y'all, and let's make some history. Stand up, rise up and know you ain't gotta follow, you can lead. Stand up y'all, we can do this, you and me. Monsanto monopolized the whole grocery line. So we all gon' have 12 toes, 3 thumbs, 3 eyes. If we keep being sheep, these wolves are gon' rob us blind. Let's occupy our mind space, cause the revolution won't be televised. Oh, what are we gon' do? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do about all the hell that we're going through? Now stand up, shout out into the walls of Babel on the feet. Stand up, y'all, we can do this, you and me. Stand up, rise up and know you ain't gotta follow, you can lead. Stand up, y'all, we can do this, you and me. Oh, mercy, mercy me. The government should nurture all families. When will all these wars be done? Hopefully before the government gonna have the money. Before another mother has one person. Shout out into the walls of Babel on the feet. Stand up, come on y'all, and let's make some history. Stand up, rise up and know you ain't gotta follow, you can lead. Stand up y'all, we can do this, you and me. Stand up, shout out into the walls of Babel on the feet. Stand up, come on y'all, and let's make some history. Stand up, rise up and know you ain't gotta